My dog's name is Henri. He's a French poodle. And when I picked him up, he was 8 weeks old and he already knew his name. So Henri, Henri is his name. We are in Lacey, Washington, which is a retirement community. It's very pet friendly. There are a lot of dogs. One thing that makes it pet friendly for a retirement community is that we are allowed to have pets. That's good. Another thing that makes it pet friendly is there is a dog park, private off-leash park, that provides not only opportunity for the dogs, but a wonderful opportunity for their owners to socialize. Pet friendly because there's a lot of mutual respect among the dog owners here. There isn't a lot of animosity, pushback about having dogs on the campus. I live in a freestanding house. I wanted a little dog that could sit in my lap. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna try a miniature poodle. And I was thrilled. I was pleased. They were just the cutest little things, and I thought this was a really good decision on my part to get a small dog. So he's kind of in the middle. For me, he's perfect. We get up, I get dressed, I put on my headlamp, I put his reflective collar on, and we go for a walk. We walk a minimum of 1/3 of a mile and rarely more than a mile, but it's a chance for him to poop and pee, basically, and he has to decide. Sometimes he does that quickly and sometimes he doesn't. I love that time. I'm out alone, there's no one else out there. I do my best thinking. It's not one of my favorite parts of the day. You don't have any choice. He has to go out. I have to take him out. I've never, ever not taken him out. I've been sick. If you get up here, I cherish those early morning times. I don't feel put off by them. I either do a workout, a true strength training workout, or I do yoga, and both of those things I do here at home. We're very routine. We're done with that, and that's all done by 8 or 9 o'clock. I do whatever my routine is. If I'm going out, I open his crate. He sits in there with the door open. It's his place. He doesn't move. He doesn't wander around the house. I've never come home and found him anywhere except still in the crate. He's just real comfortable in there. And there's two things, piano time and office time. And no matter where he is in the house, when I go start playing the piano, he comes and sits right here. Sometimes under the bench, and if not under the bench, right here, and waits till I'm done. I read usually after supper. I'm a big believer in kibble, but in every meal he gets green beans, cauliflower, spinach, not all of them, but something, asparagus, a vegetable or a fruit. So he's got a great appetite, and that's what he eats twice a day. And I feed him, if you look at what the manufacturers recommend, I feed him about 2/3, maybe half what they recommend. So that's his diet. He's really easy. He doesn't wolf his food down. He's not, a lot of people have to feed a dog with and this is important, if your dog eats too quickly, they have all sorts of bowls that make it harder to get the food out. The dog has to work harder, so it slows them down. He's easy. He's very easy on food. In a community, I think leash walking is really the only thing that I can make sense of. He will see another dog on a leash, and 9 out of 10 of those dogs we just pass. But Some of those dogs apparently represent what he perceives of as a threat of some sort. We all have flaws. Henri has flaws, and one of his flaws is being overreactive to some dogs on leash, and that's something that I work on, and I've gotten training help for me on, and I'm pleased and proud for him and me that we're making some headway on it, but it's not acceptable to me for him to decide to bark at a dog that's just motoring along doing its own thing. So you have a lot of control on the dial about how big an impression you want to make. And I'm using the e-collar because I found that my effort to use a treat to induce the dog to look at me, have his treat, and ignore the dog that he was wanting to bark at wasn't getting the result that I wanted. I'm proud of this e-collar. I'm proud of myself as an owner to take responsibility. You have a primary responsibility before you get to entertaining your pet, training your pet, enjoying your pet. You have a responsibility to be sure your dog isn't a nuisance. So to other people and other dogs, you have the nuisance and safety responsibility. Your dog has to not present either a danger or a safety to other people or to other dogs. You have, I believe, a responsibility to do something to enrich the dog's life. I mentioned to you before, if you want to have no enrichment and just ease for yourself, you're putting the dog in jail. You're just saying, I'm going to feed you and you can pee outside. I think it's a big responsibility to take on a dog that you want to be part of your life and not be a pain in the neck to other people or even to yourself. You have a responsibility to that dog. What a good boy. Oh, I'm going to put your off leash. Leash, always test it to be sure it's not drawn. It is good. We are good to go. Good boy. Check, moms. I guess it's important for them to run off leash in the same way that we recommend that you get kids engaged in sport. That we have the idea that physical activity is important for humans, and I think strenuous physical activity is good for a dog. I've never really thought about it before. There'll be 5 or 6 or 7. It's mostly women. Occasionally there's a man. Women who know each other really well. The dogs know each other really well. It's a master class. The woman teaching it is a master. Big arena, 100 feet by 50 feet, and in it are jump, tunnels, teeter-totter, obstacles. There'll be 20 obstacles set up. And then in the end, we all run the whole course. But there's camaraderie for the people. So I don't know why I haven't mentioned that. We normally have 15 or 20 minutes a day. It's not a lot, but it's intense playtime. There are all sorts of different games we play, and he enjoys them all. I'll be able to show just inventing a game out of nothing, like hide and seek, that anybody can do hide and seek. Anybody can teach a dog how to get in a box. You don't need anything special, and that's what I'll be able to show. One of my favorite games is hide and seek. He seems to love it endlessly. And I put him in a sit stay, I go somewhere in the house and I tell him to come find me, and he runs around and looks, and then he's all excited, and then I have him stay there, and I go someplace else. It's really simple. But it is really fun, and he doesn't seem to ever tire of it. I can show people the fun of getting a dog to get into a box. We can start with a bigger box, which is easy to get the dog into, and then we can get it smaller and smaller and smaller and see how small a box we can get in. Dogs are fun. Love. How do you define love? He makes me feel needed. He counts on me. He depends on me. Yeah. He needs me. And he has pushed harder on his limits, and I have yielded more because he's so damn cute. He has really taught me to know what I wanted out of our relationship, and that's a good thing. It's the greatest gift you can give your partner. The dog gave you years, however many years it had, of love and affection and unconditional. That's how I feel about it. The announcement, I'll never have another dog, it's virtually what everybody says in the moment. And in that moment, you're never going to have another dog. I tell all my dogs that they are 10,000-mile dogs, my dogs. And a 10,000-mile dog means it's going to walk 1,000 miles a year with me, which means 3 miles a day. And that's pretty much what I do with my dog. And I needed another 10,000 miles. I've gotten 5 out of this dog. Got 5 to go, buddy. Would I recommend a pet for seniors? The thing we have in common, we just spoke about, and that is we've outlived most of our normal social usefulness. I would recommend a pet to any person who wanted the intimacy and the sharing that a pet provides. If you live alone particularly, I would recommend it, but only if you were willing to put the work in, and only if you weren't afraid of the loss at the end. They will die. The nature of the bond deepens and changes depending on what you choose to do with the dog. The bond between him and me is pretty strong, but I've created that. He's accepted that, and I've created it. And his nature to be a lap dog, I mean, I didn't train that, that's nature. But I've never had a dog that wanted to be as Velcro as he is. I like that. He follows me everywhere. He wants to sit on my lap. When we go to bed at night, he smashes himself right up against me. And I like that, but it's definitely new to me to have a dog behave that way. What logic is that? My jeans soak the water from paws and soft fur. We sit as he dries while I read a book. Getting soggy myself, he dries in my lap. Content to wait, he dozes off before we can go to bed. And I tell him that we're going to bed, and he goes into the bedroom, and he gets up in his position on the bed, and I go in the bathroom and do my stuff in the bathroom, and I get in bed with him and turn the light out, and we go to sleep.